Hey, it's Theo and thank you for joining me. Today I wanted to go over the new loaner decks that are coming with Into the Emerald Dream. Now these loaner decks are for new and returning players, and what that means is that as a new player you have to complete the apprentice tracks to get access to these decks, and as a returning player it means you need to not have logged into the game for 90 days. And yeah, you get access to all these 6 decks for a week. And in the end, you have to pick one of them and you get to keep all those cards. Now this time it was a little bit harder to decide which decks are great and not, because yeah, a lot of stuff was nerfed, some stuff was unnerved. So it's pretty hard to predict what's going to be good and what is not going to be good. So for this video, I'll be mostly looking at the cards, the epics, the legendaries. Like how good are they going to be in the future, how likely will they see play, and how many decks will they see play. So with that being said, let's get started with the first deck you can pick, which is the Terran Shaman, which was pretty much the best deck for the last few months. But yeah, with the nerfs though, I'm not convinced anymore. But you get a couple of nice legendaries. First of all, you get the Tourist, the Turbulus, which is nice for the aggressive decks, where you just buff all minions and you get access to the Hunter card. So that's pretty nice legendary if you want to play probably more aggressive Shaman decks. Next legendary is, well, Gorgonzola, but that's a free one, so we're not counting that one, is Shadow Block. And yeah, I'm not sure if you actually want to play it in this deck, but it's really good in slower Shaman decks. It allows you to set up some crazy combos later in the game, so definitely a good pick for that. Just remains to be seen how good Shaman is going to be after the nerfs, but yeah, for late game Shaman decks, this is a good card. And lastly, we got Jim Raynor again. Yeah, this card, obviously, you need it in Terran decks, but it's kind of, again, hard to say how much the nerfs will hit the Terran decks, because right now it doesn't look very good in the stats for Terran decks. But yeah, it might also be because of all the unnerved cards that are kind of broken and are going to be rotating once the expansion launches. Also, Raynor is part of the StarCraft mini set, and even with the nerfs, I'd probably still recommend buying that StarCraft mini set. That means, yeah, you get all the hero cards, right? Raynor, you get Kerrigan, you get Artanis. And then you can always disenchant if you don't want them. So yeah, these cards have a little bit less value because all the other cards, yeah, you have to get in a pack or craft. But these ones, they're relatively easy to get with the mini set, which costs 2,500 gold. And yeah, generally, if you see my other videos, I always recommend buying those mini sets. Then we have the Protoss Mage. I'd say one of the actually better decks you can get here by itself. The one thing I would change is a Warp Gate for a Sleet Skater, because I don't feel like double Warp Gate is very good. It's usually going to be stuck in your hand. But besides that, yeah, this is pretty close to actually the meta Protoss decks that are being played right now. And this deck didn't get nerfed, so yeah, that's really good for this deck if you want to get started. And the legendaries you get here are Grifta, which is really nice. So this card has been played a lot since it launched, and yeah, it's honestly kind of hard to see it go away, especially with rotation when the power level goes down. Cards like this will most likely see even more play. Just yeah, this card can go into a lot of decks, so great legendary to have. Next legendary we have is the Puzzle Master Khadgar. Pretty good card. It can be pretty random, and I think that's why a lot of people don't really trust the card. Because if there's a whole board and yeah, you wanted to Blizzard, it's going to play Arcane Missiles, that can happen. But overall, the stats have always been quite good on this card. So don't let the RNG of this card dissuade you from using it, because it's a pretty strong card in Mage decks. And yeah, imagine it's going to see play in a bunch of Mage decks. And the last card is Artanis, the one hero card from StarCraft that didn't get nerfed. And yeah, it was really strong before, so it's still gonna be really strong. But again, just like with Raynor, it is part of the StarCraft mini set. So I'd say it's slightly less valuable than, again, the other legendaries. And then we have this Cover Hunter, which was a meta deck during StarCraft. And yeah, very little actually changes for this Cover Hunter. Yeah, Alien Counters got nerfed by 1 health. Incendious got nerfed by mana, but you already kind of weren't always playing Incendious, so you can easily cut that with the nerf, even though it's in the deck right now. And I can definitely see this deck being a meta player. Though one thing I would do though is actually play some more Zerg cards in this deck. You don't necessarily need to play the Zerglings by itself. You already got Spawning Pool, but I would definitely play Hydralisks and the Nidus Worm and Kerrigan. Even with the nerf, that card still seems very good. That card is just so good, especially Hydralisk. Like, it can just ODK your opponent, and it really lets you have a win con if your opponent actually keeps clearing your board. So I would get those Zerg cards instead of like Reptar Herald. I definitely wouldn't play this card. Mixologist, Gorgonzola, I'd probably cut some of those, or Incendious. Those are probably cards you want to be cutting for the Zerg cards. But let's talk about the cards that you're getting, which are Nayel. I mean, extremely good hunter card. You'll probably be playing this in most hunter decks outside of Imbue, obviously. Again, Gorgonzola is free. And again, yeah, Grifta, just very versatile, good legendary to have. Then we have Incendious, which was kind of widely played before the nerfs. After nerfs, though, I'm not sure how much it's gonna see play, maybe in 1 or 2 decks I would guess, but not much more than that. I probably wouldn't suggest playing it again in this deck, but hey, it's not the worst legendary to get. And the last legendary to have is the Ceaseless Expanse, and yeah, this card is being played in so many decks, just way too strong, and wouldn't be surprised if this gets nerfed again in the future, but right now, yeah, this is one of the best legendaries you can get. Also, we got 2 epic cards in this deck. First of all, we got the Seaside Giant, which is nice. It didn't really see much play during the expansion it launched in. But yeah, with the last expansion, it suddenly saw a lot of play with all the extra locations that got added. We'll see how many other decks still play this card, but I would definitely be playing a Seaside Giant in this Hunted deck. It's very good at that. And the other epic is the Mixologist, although you can't see it here. But yeah, the Mixologist is an epic, and yeah, this is an alright card. It might get better though with rotation. It's seen a bit of play before. So yeah, just an alright card to have. And then we have a Pirate Crewmate Demon Hunter. Now, Pirate Demon Hunter has been pretty strong for the past few months. Crewmate, not so much, though funny enough, during the Tavern Brawl, it's actually become one of the best archetypes there is to get to the 6 wins, but that's the Tavern Brawl, and with the expansion launching, I still don't expect the Crewmates to see a lot of play. The aggro package, though, is pretty decent, but let's also look at the legendaries you're getting. First of all, we got the Patches the Pilot. Used to be played in Shaman as well, but yeah, it got a bit worse that Shaman deck, so it's now playing that other Tourist. But yeah, it's a solid card in an aggressive deck like this. It may be returned at some point in the Shaman. Now, next legendary got is Deirdre, Rebel Captain. Yeah, I mean, if you want to play Crewmate, you want to be playing this deck. But again, I don't expect that to be very good. So yeah, a very limited card. Just one archetype, so it's not that great of a legendary. And then we got Arana Thrillseeker, the Priest Taurus. And yeah, if you're playing an aggressive Demon Hunter deck, you actually want those Priest cards, because those Priest cards are pretty aggressive. Not really like Priest, but yeah, the Priest set is really good for Demon Hunter. So if you want to play aggressive Demon Hunter decks, then definitely you want Arana. And the 2 epics in this deck are the Ace Wayfinder, and yeah, I don't know, I don't think that this card is very good. So I wouldn't really expect this to see much play. And we got the Emergency Meeting again, just like Deirdre. It's a card for the crewmates, and yeah, I'm not too hopeful for those crewmates, so I'm not too hopeful for this card either. Then the 5th deck we have is the Zerg Death Knight deck. And yeah, this used to be one of the most popular decks during StarCraft, but yeah, after the nerfs to Infestor, yeah, this deck is just terrible. Like, it's just kind of unplayable, because the whole point of playing Zerg Death Knight is that you get these huge minions that just overwhelm your opponent. But yeah, with the health buff gone, it's just way too easy to clear, and it kind of just does nothing. And on top of this just being a horrible deck, it has a whopping total of 1 legendary in it. Now, the legendary though is Kerrigan, which even after nerfs I imagine is still very good. But yeah, again, it's a card from the StarCraft mini set. I would recommend that, and otherwise you can just craft the card. There's literally no reason to pick this deck. I'm just baffled it's even in here with this kind of build. Like, if you want to play Kerrigan, it's better to pick the Warrior deck. Disenchant those legendaries and craft it than it is to pick this deck. So yeah, never ever pick this Death Knight deck. And last deck we have is the Terran Warrior. I already just mentioned it, that yeah, this deck has the most dust out of all. And yeah, let's go over the cards we got for the legendaries. Let's start at the bottom this time with Ceaseless Expand. And yeah, Ceaseless Expand, I mean, just very good, right? Like I said already during the Hunter segment. Then we've got Zilliax. Now, I would probably change the Zilliax version. This used to be on Killiax, but they removed the Reborn part, which yeah, kind of makes this card a lot worse. I'd probably instead play the module to make 2 of these, but still a very good legendary to have. One of the most versatile legendaries, if not the most versatile legendary ever. And yeah, I imagine this card is still gonna see a ton of play in like every deck, so definitely a great legendary to have. Next one is Jim Raynor, again, just like with Shaman. It's a nice legendary if you want to play Terran decks. Not sure how good Terran decks are gonna be. And again, it's in the StarCraft mini set, you can get it there. But yeah, if Terran is gonna be a thing, you definitely want to have this legendary. Then we have Killed Jaden. We'll see how good this card is gonna be. It saw a little bit of play during the last few months. But yeah, maybe with rotation, if power level goes down, this card might just get a lot stronger. It might just be one of the best late game legendaries to put in your deck if you like the slower decks. And yeah, you need this card to be able to play the Druid card, which you can see here are New Heights, Tortland Traveler, Sleep Under Star, and Hydration Station. So yeah, quite a few cards that you need. So I think that next year it's still going to see a lot of play in the slower warrior decks. Then with Bob, but Bob is free, although yeah, I'm not convinced how good it is anymore after the nerf. And then the last legend we got is Bulwark Vezanov. which is the reason why this is a wild deck, because it's not in standard yet. It will be when expansion launches as a core set card, so it will just be free for everybody, so no dust there. I also have some epics. First of all, we've got the Sleep Under the Stars already mentioned. Just a nice card to have to refill your late game, and can be played obviously in both Druid and Warrior. Any other epic you get here is New Heights, and just again, good card rate, ramp. Early is extremely powerful, or going to 30 mana or 60 mana even. And those are all the 6 loner decks. Now, which one would I pick? Well, first of all, definitely not Zerg. Like I mentioned, just never pick this one. Then we got Pirate Demon Hunter, we've got the Protoss Mage and the Terran Shaman, which you could pick if you really want those legendaries or just play that class. But the two I really would choose between are the Discoverer Hunter and the Terran Warrior. Now, the Terran Warrior overall has more legendaries and just more dust overall, right? You get 5 legendaries compared to 4 for Hunter. But the better deck, I'd say, is the Hunter. And it also has a bunch of good legendaries. Overall, I'd give the edge to a Warrior. It's got Ziliax and Ceaseless. And just more dust. But that's it for this video. If you have any more questions about the loner decks, please let me know down below in the comments. If this video helped you out, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time.